For as long as I can remember, I've always been curious. I love to create, in my mind and in reality, so architecture was ultimately the right fit. But I was supposed to be a scientist. And honestly, it took me a while to find my feet, but I grew into it. I started to understand its potential to have an impact, and in time to have impact at scale. Not just design buildings and spaces, but improve lives through our interventions, to pursue better and chart the course to make it. I'm Dino Vrynios, architect and director at Dash Studio. In all facets of life, I set high standards for myself and have generally been able to deliver at high output levels. The product of this is a gradual stretching of capacity, just like a rubber band. But even a rubber band has its limits. And in the winter of 2017, I well and truly reached that point. Sarah, my wife and co-director at Dash Studio, and I were both working at large practices here in Adelaide on the pathway to leadership at our respective firms. We're also spending a lot of time travelling and working on projects in state. And my my grandmother, her house had just burnt down, and I took on responsibility of looking after her and managing the estate on behalf of the family. So one Thursday morning, after my weekly red-eye flight to Sydney, I had a complete physical and mental breakdown. I collapsed. It triggered what has been the scariest period of my life. My brain hit reset, and for the first time in my life, I was not in control. This wake-up call with my mental health caused Sarah and I to reevaluate our lives. We wanted greater flexibility and better balance, to create an environment where we could do what we love, but with greater control. And so, in 2018, Dash Studio was born. Sarah took the leap, and I joined her just over a year later, working from the front bedroom of our home. Look, I won't lie, it's scary when you have a mortgage, limited clients, and uncertainty for when the next invoice is going to be paid, but we found a way. The opportunity to take our learnings from a decade of practice and hone it into a version of how we wanted to operate. Early in our careers, we cut our teeth designing bespoke residential projects. Delivering homes for people was how we developed our baseline understanding of making spaces. So we started small, designing new homes and additions. We were creating environments and making people's lives better, one family at a time. And with each passing day, began feeling more comfortable with the path we were making. We were enjoying ourselves. Working together, we restored balance in our lives. But then something started to happen. Slowly but surely, some different opportunities were presenting themselves, and we began asking the question: did we want to focus solely on residential architecture and impact the lives of a few? Or take these opportunities and impact the lives of many? Earlier in my career, I was awarded the Jack Hobbs McConnell Travelling Fellowship in Architecture by the SA chapter of the Institute to research world's best practice in prefabrication and modular construction. With what I experienced in Europe and on a delegation in China with industry and political leaders from South Australia, I began to understand that architects think differently about the world. On my return to Australia, I embarked on a period of intense exploration and agency. Our luxury regional tourism venture, Escapod, was developed as one of the demonstrators of these learnings. Fast forward to September 2019, DAS's now team of 5 were presented with the opportunity to deliver a pilot modular project for the South Australian Department for Education. 3 weeks later, this one project evolved into a 12-school program valued at $50 million. This was a big decision for us to make. To commit to something of this scale opened up a range of new financial and operational considerations, but ultimately the chance to have a positive impact. In the space of 3 months, we grew to 12 and are now a team of 18 incredible architects, interior designers and landscape architects, based out of our studio in the Adelaide CBD. 2 years on, having navigated the challenges presented by growing a business during a global pandemic, these projects have all been delivered and used by thousands of students in Adelaide and regional centres around the state. The program expanded to include a further 16 schools, which were then divested to other architects and consultants, with new contractors coming on board to develop capabilities in the modular and prefab space. This was impact at scale. MDLR became a vehicle created with our business partners in Escapod to test these ideas for other applications. Regional health was an obvious one, so I wrote a paper, banged on some doors, and the Royal Flying Doctor Service decided to take a chance on us. Together we delivered a game-changing piece of health infrastructure in Maree, a town of 100 people located 800 kilometres due north of Adelaide, on some of the most remote country on this continent. We were starting to demonstrate how we can deliver outcomes that were a departure from business as usual thinking. We've been able to build momentum around this approach, that there is always another way if you create space for new ideas. And now we're starting to partner with like-minded organisations and institutions, and providing us the opportunity to create projects that support intergenerational scale endeavours across all tiers of education, manufacturing, technology and space. Maybe I'll be a scientist after all. I do have to pinch myself at times and take a moment to appreciate what we have achieved in the past 4 years and those that have entrusted and supported us. But you know what? I enjoy the responsibility of our projects and the team of people who have joined us in this journey. I've always been a leader that gives away power. I believe this is important because it ensures that good ideas are part of a common agenda rather than an expression of a single person. It allows a good idea to have many champions and allows for adoption without difficulty. This is what I've endeavoured to do every day within the professional realms I operate and the broader communities I'm part of. Through deliberate and strategic participation, I seek out the opportunity to contribute, to share knowledge and positively influence those around me to create environments where big ideas can grow. Someone once described it to me as activism by stealth. Kind of stuck. Through the decisions we make every day as architects, we have a greater ability than most to have an impact. And this is a huge responsibility. But it's also a privileged position. So, we should strive for better. Better processes, better relationships, better outcomes. We should respectfully challenge convention and not be afraid to ask if the way it is the way it should be. We should be generous with our time and with each other, because giving is better than taking. Architects are makers. Makers of spaces, makers of solutions, makers of joy, making a difference to make every day better. So, let's make better.